Today's guest is someone who brings joy to literally millions of people through her incredible dancing. She's also a holistic life coach, the founder of Buzz Wellness, and now the author of the gorgeous book, Move Yourself Happy, 21 Days to Make Your Life Joyful. Welcome to I have Dianne Buswell.
So much for having me.
Oh, it's lovely to see your face here today, and I can't wait to get stuck into this conversation. Your new book really is joyful, and we're going to hear lots more about that. But can we start off by you telling our listeners what you think they should know about you?
I've basically danced my whole life. So I grew up in a small little country town in Australia. I am Australian. My accent's not quite as strong as it used to be, but yes, I am Australian. And yeah, started dancing at the age of 4 and absolutely loved it. So obviously just kept on going with it, had many ups and downs throughout my career of dancing, but obviously right now I'm on a huge up. I'm, on Strictly Come Dancing, which is one of the biggest shows in the UK. I pinch myself daily that I'm doing a job that is literally a dream. And I'm a hairdresser by trade. I did my hairdressing apprenticeship throughout all this time as well. Don't know where I managed the time to do that, but I did that. And yeah, I moved over to the UK about 6 years ago. All my family is still in Australia. So I am the only one over here, but I've created my own little family now. I've got my boyfriend Joe and his family here. So yeah, it's lovely. I love the UK and love my job, love everything about being here actually. So yeah, and here I am now speaking with you.
We're very glad that you're over here, and we love seeing you on Strictly Come Dancing. And now you have this book out. So before we go on to your I ams and your I have, tell us about this book and what motivated you to write it.
The idea really came from when we were in like lockdown 1.0, I'd call it, the first of many lockdowns. During that lockdown, I started to do classes on my Instagram, on my YouTube account, where they were like live yoga flows, Pilates, dance classes, just things that got people moving, really. And the response I had to that was incredible. Like, I had people messaging me daily being like, this is the first time I've actually moved my body in however many weeks. And I can't tell you how good I feel. And this has given me a purpose. And this has really helped with my mental health and all these things. And it was just such a nice thing that I was hearing from all these people that I've actually helped them to, have a bit of happiness in their day, which was, quite a stressful time for many people. Or I just got them up and moving for, they were only 20-30 minute classes, but they really looked forward to it and it gave them a purpose and their mental clarity was better and all this. So I thought, oh wow, that's quite amazing. And I continued doing that throughout lockdown. It was, I think, lockdown 3 or 4, I can't even remember which one. I sat down with Kate and we put this concept together of 21 days of joyful movement and how it can really change so many things. It's, I find movement such a joy and we are able to move. And I find things that I love doing and I sort of treat myself with movement rather than it being like a punishment. And that's sort of where the book idea came from. And throughout the book as well, there's like tips and things that, I do not daily. Obviously I'm not perfect myself, but things that that have helped me throughout my career, throughout my life. And it's kind of a book that I always say to people, I wish that I had when I was like a younger girl growing up, because there were so many things that it may seem common sense, but I just didn't think of it like that. So yeah, hopefully this book will help many people.
I think it will. And what I really love about it is your reiteration of doing things that bring you joy and make you
Mm.
happy. And exercise isn't a punishment. And actually, you talk about taking time out. You talk about there are 4 pillars. And they are movement, nutrition, rest, and positivity. And I
Hmm.
think that whole thing about rest as well as movement is really important, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. It's something I've really learned as I got busier in my life. I would say yes to everything. And you kind of get to a point where you have to be okay with being like, no, I'm not going to do that because I need to rest myself. I need to rest my body and actually be okay with that feeling. yeah, rest is just as important as everything else. And finding time for yourself, it's not, you know, a selfish thing. Many people can label it as, oh, that's quite selfish. I used to be one of those people, but I think it's really important to number one, treat yourself, to rest your body, allow that time just for yourself. So yeah, it's just as important, if not one of the most important things. Yeah, we talk about, you know, movement, but also rest.
That's wonderful. The balance is there. So do check out Dianne's book, Move Yourself Happy, and there'll be information about that in the show notes. And we're going to head on to your I ams and your I have. And your first one is I am determined. And I think we can hear that in your journey from dancing from childhood to Strictly Come Dancing. But tell us about what being determined means for you.
I think like I throughout my life, like I said, I grew up in a really small country town. You know, there wasn't much in the form of dance at all, really. There, like the teachers that were there probably weren't as qualified as some of the teachers, say, in the city, or, you know, but I was always so determined to make a career out of my dancing, and not, you know, not necessarily win. I think it was just win for myself. And I kind of learned that at quite a young age. Like sometimes it didn't mean anything to actually win the title, but you can win in so many other ways. So I've just always been quite determined like that. And obviously throughout my career, there are knockbacks, you know, but you don't really talk about those as much, but there definitely is. But I think that those knockbacks determine you to go that little bit further for the next time round. And like, I'm still to this day, I still get knockbacks, and you have a moment where you go, oh, damn, but you just sort of pick yourself up again and go, but I could do something else with that. You know, I can learn from that. Yeah, determined, I would say, is probably, yeah, a really strong one for me.
Determination is such an important thing in terms of what you do and the world that you occupy. And also I would imagine that energy, you have to have a certain determination about getting from the beginning, let's say, of a rehearsal process in Strictly Come Dancing to getting the partner that you're working with to a certain stage. Is the joy in that seeing someone else kind of feeding off your determination and getting to that place themselves?
Oh, that's, I think, one of the main things that I love about Strictly is that you get given a different partner every year, and you don't know how they work. So first of all, you need to sort of work out how they work, and they're so different to your last year's partner. You know, everything about them is different. So that in itself is really interesting. And then you are determined to make them a good dancer, but also to enjoy the process. That's one of my favorite parts of it, is seeing them grow and seeing them absolutely fall in love with dance and become these dancers. And at the beginning, they're like, no, trust me, I can't dance. I can't dance. They all say it to me, all of them. And I say, no, but trust me, you can dance. And I believe you can dance. I'm determined to make you dance. And so, yeah. And then you see how much they love it because they actually can do it. So I think it's that thing of when you just try something, and if you put enough time and effort in, you see results. And it is a joyful thing to see yourself grow.
That's lovely. And just thinking about the word determined, I think it's kind of one we don't use enough, you know, and
Mm.
it's a good affirmation as well, isn't it? As I am determined. When you
Mm-hmm.
wake up, you know, if you're having a good day and you're going to go and do something, I am determined. Thank you for sharing that. And your next is I am always worrying. Tell us about
Yeah.
always worrying, Dianne.
As much as I'm determined, I am a little warrior. And I think, you know, I live so far away from my family, and I'm always like, oh, I haven't, like, first thing sometimes I'll do in the morning is check if my mum's written to me, or like, because they're obviously the time difference and everything. And I'm like, oh, I hope they're okay today. Like, I'm always thinking of other people or other things, or, you know, sometimes I can overthink a situation. Sometimes I'm also the opposite. I can be like, oh, don't worry, it'll be fine. But yeah, I think more than likely I do worry about little silly things a lot.
Where does that come from? Is it something you've always had as a propensity to worry, or is it the speed of life and the distance, like you said?
Think it's a bit of both, really. My mum is a massive worrier herself, so I think, you know, it's probably something that's stemmed from her. Like, still to this day, my mum will, if she's with me, like, I remember I was at home just recently this year for Christmas. And I was like, I'm going to go down the beach, Mum. She's like, oh, make sure you don't go in the water like too far. Like, this might happen, that might happen. So it was like she's still in that, like she still worries about everything. So I feel like it's just a trait maybe that I've got from my mum, because she was always a worrier growing up and still is to this day.
Mums do tend to worry, don't they?
Yeah.
And you talk about journaling in your book. Is journaling
Mhm.
something you use to help with worrying? Do you use any of those toolkits, I guess, that you talk about in the book with worrying?
Yeah, I do journal. I must admit there are days where I go, "Oh, I didn't write anything down today." And when life gets a bit busy, that's when I need to go back to all the things. And journaling is definitely one of them. I feel like when I write down like gratitude notes, that's when my worry kind of goes away, because I'm like, something I'm worried about, actually I can turn it into something that I'm grateful for. So it changes my like my feeling inside, because I think worry also, it plays a part in your whole body. Like when you worry, it goes straight to your gut, which goes straight to your brain. So there's like a lot of like chemical and like things happening there. But when you write down what you're grateful for, even if it's something that may be bad that's happened, like bad in your head, you can sort of justify it better, and it does make you feel better inside, which then makes your tummy feel better, makes your brain feel better. So I honestly do believe so much in writing down gratitude. I think it does change your brain a lot.
I love that. And also the reframing. I think gratitude is really important, and also movement. You talk about hiking and being out in nature, and you mentioned your partner Joe as well. And we spoke to him about his fantastic book Grow, in which he talks about being outdoors as well, and the fact that you live in the countryside now. Does that help to get out in nature and relieve some of that kind of worrisome energy?
I mean, we're very lucky to live where we live, because it is like there's so much beautiful nature. And like one of my favorite things in the morning is just listening to the birds or watching the birds. Like we have this bird feeder, and I just like go to the window and just watch all these beautiful birds come and go. And it is like you think of that at that moment, you're not thinking of anything else. So it is definitely something that releases worry for sure. But yeah, nature, being outdoors, I think being present in the moment and just actually really taking in like what is going on around you, because I think we're all guilty of, even if you do go on a walk, your brain could still be ticking over with things from your day or whatever. But I think it's not just about going out for a walk, but it's about going out for a walk and really like taking in your surroundings, like leaving your phone at home, leaving all your worries at the doorstep, and then sort of just going out and taking the walk for what the walk is. So yeah, but we are lucky to be in a beautiful area where that we are able to do that. So
And that sounds lovely, that kind of appreciation first thing in the morning, just seeing the world before you see your screen.
mhm.
And it's something you mention in the book, which is you say you're so glad you didn't grow up with social media. I'm very glad I didn't grow up with social media. And I think that can be a source of worry and comparison for a lot of us, can't it?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like really all your worries sort of came from school and like in person. And when you kind of realize that people won't bully you in person like they will online. Like online is on like another level. And yeah, I didn't grow up with that. I remember I got my job working away as a dancer, and all I took with me was, I think I had a flip phone that like when you went overseas, like the SIM didn't work, so I never used it. But I just had my like mini laptop that it wasn't not even a proper laptop that I would use to Skype my mum and dad, and that's all I used it for. And it was just crazy. Like I didn't grow up with any of that. And then the moment you get all this, like I mean, I love Instagram and all, I still use it. I use TikTok, I use Instagram. As much as I love it, you do find yourself comparing a lot of the time. So you need to be really quite structured, like on what you're focusing on. Try and focus on good things or things that make you feel good, rather than things that you look at and go, oh, I should be doing that, or you're just comparing, because you can get into that rabbit hole. And sometimes I have done that.
It's hard not to, isn't it? But also, as you just mentioned, the positive stuff. So you were able to connect with so many people through social media during all of the various lockdowns. At Happiful, we're able to talk to people and share information. So there is there is good in social media, but we also do need to have everything you talk about in your book. So making sure that we're getting out, making sure we're doing things that make us feel good, and just managing that relationship, because it can bring on that worry that you were talking about as well, because quite a lot of negative stuff out there as well, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. And I think I say because growing up with it, when you're younger, you're a bit more vulnerable, aren't you? So I feel like obviously now that when I use social media, I'm so much more mindful and aware. But when you're younger, you're probably not as mindful and aware. And so I kind of missed all that bit and kind of came into the social media, I feel like at a nice age. But yeah, I think for me, it's just a worry younger people falling into that rabbit hole. And obviously as you get older, you understand, and like you say, there's so much good in it as well, because we get to connect with people and, positive stuff. There's so much positive stuff out there, but our brains instantly go to negative, don't they?
They really do. And all we can do is things like you've done in the book, which is to really crowd out that negativity and actually go, look, these are the ways in which we can love ourselves and look after ourselves and not go down that kind of comparison or negativity route.
Yes, exactly. It's a hard one because you try to show everyone, the joyful movement, the joyful, like keeping your brain nice and mentally healthy. But it is normal. Like you do have moments, even I do, I'm not perfect, but anything that can help. And, I still go like back to, like I say, my journaling and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling a bit. I need to go back to doing the things that make me feel good, because you can easily, life takes over and gets busy, but you just need to make time to make yourself feel good. It's really important.
I agree. And your next I am is a really lovely one. It's I am proud. Tell us about being proud.
Obviously, like I am really proud. I'm proud of where I've come from, how hard I've worked to get to what I have now. I'm proud of like this book that's coming out. I'm proud of everything that I'm doing. And even I am proud of when I spoke before about, knockbacks. I'm actually proud of those knockbacks as well, because I've had to overcome something to even go for say it's a job or something that I've gone for an audition, or there's an element of being scared of doing it because it's something new. But then you're so proud of doing it. And even though it's a knockback, you're still proud that you've actually gone out and tried something new. So yeah, I think it's important to be proud of not just things that are happening and that people see as like an achievement, but also be proud of things that maybe don't work out the way they do, because ultimately you've had to overcome something to even get to that point anyway. So I think, yeah, being proud of everything as a whole is really important.
Enjoying that journey and the different twists and turns. And I always think about that film Sliding Doors. I don't know if you've seen it. I always think about how our lives can be like that. There are certain things that happen or don't happen, and they might take us down a different route altogether. I love that. And talking about being proud, you were saying that you were dancing since you were really young. If you could talk to your kind of 10-year-old self, what do you think she would say in terms of being proud about where you are now?
Basically, I remember so clearly just absolutely loving what I did, and nothing, when I danced, it was never a chore. Like it was never something like, oh God, I have to go to dancing now, or something that like my mum made me do. Or it was always, I couldn't wait. Like I was bursting at the seams to get to my dance class or my dance practice, or I always wanted to be dancing. And I think she would just be like, that joy that you had, I was really grateful for it as well. Like I remember being like, thank you. I would always like thank everything. Like when I was even really young, I did the gratitude thing without even knowing it. But there was like one boy that danced in my hometown, and all these girls sort of tried out to dance with him. And I was the one that they kind of chose to dance with him. And every day I'd be like, oh, just thank you for, making me the girl that got to dance with him. Because that really did boost my career. I got to do competition and stuff like that. So my dancing sort of went up a level. And I'd just be like, yeah, you were grateful. You absolutely loved what you did. And I think that is the key to success, really, is loving what you do and enjoying it. And it was never a chore. And that's kind of what this book is about, really, is about joyful movement, which is what I did as a young girl. And it's really led me to my career now.
And it's so clear to see as well, you know, talking about being proud, there is that element of gratitude, isn't it? I can hear from you that everything you do, you're taking it all in. Like when you were saying about new partners on Strictly, or, you know, you'll move to the countryside, you're taking it all in and you're living that experience. You're not just looking back at the experiences. Is it important for you to really capture all of these moments as you're living them?
Yeah, definitely. I do feel like I am quite an emotional person. So I do feel like I take on like every moment, every feeling. I do try and take it all in as much and as best as I can. So it is nice to look back. And like you say, I feel like I'm feeling that moment again rather than just saying it. I do feel that moment of because they were all such real feelings and big moments in my life.
Thank you for sharing that with us, because I really get a sense of the journey that you've come on and your sliding doors moments
Yeah.
from an early age. And we're going to go on to your I have, which is I have good health. Tell us about having good health.
I think that's like one of my things that I'm really grateful for every day. Like I think being healthy is key to life really, and it enables me to do what I do. I have such a physical job that if I am not healthy, then that's really not going to be possible. So I have my health, and that gives me so much and more. And it's something that you take for granted, even if for example, the last tour I was on, I got a little sinus infection, and I really was like, God, I am grateful when I'm feeling good because just the smallest little thing, I knew that that infection would go away, but at that moment, you're like, oh, you really take for granted when you're feeling good, strong, and healthy, and what your body is actually doing for us. So yeah, I have my health, and I'm really grateful for that.
It's interesting that we have all been faced with quite a lot of messaging around ill health with COVID, and staying away from people. And I think it really has collectively as well made us aware of our fragility as well, and how we need to look after ourselves and support our immune systems, but also how related we are to other people, in terms of how we can pass on health and illness, but also how a good connected community can really support our health. And you said you've got your own family and friend group where you are. Are they very important to you in terms of both your physical but also your mental health?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think if I was here on my own and wasn't able to talk to anyone or have anyone, that I just knew that if something was to happen, that I could fall back on, people that are surrounding me. I think it would be a different situation. But I'm so grateful that I have, Joe and his family, and they're so lovely to me. And I do feel like they're there if and when I need them. So I think it's really important to have those people surrounding you for sure. And I mean, even though my family is so far away, I still have them always, and they will always be there. But to know that someone is sort of just around the corner does help things a lot.
We need that connection, don't we? And you also wrote in the book about the fact that you're very open, and I love this, that you see a therapist when you need to. Why was it important for you to share that? I mean, at Happiful, we celebrate everyone who shares and is open about mental health and the tools they use, but I'd love to know why you wanted to write that in the book for other people.
I think it's something that maybe, well, I actually not say maybe, but I know definitely as a young girl, it would have been a really good thing for me to have. Like growing up as a dancer, you do have a lot of things that go through your brain that you're like, oh, I'll keep that to myself, but really it'd be good to be able to talk to someone about it. And it's something that actually Joe got me into it, because Joe is very open about as well, speaking to a therapist. And he said, honestly, Di, you do all this thing for your body, moving it daily and all that, but your mind is just as important, and you should be working on that too. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And at first when I spoke to the therapist, I was like, I don't really have anything at the moment that I feel like I need to speak about. But actually it's just nice to you find yourself talking and talking, and then you kind of unlock these certain things that you're like, oh wow, like, and you come off. And like I was doing it over through Zoom, and I'd come off the call and I'd be like, I didn't even think I needed to talk to anyone today, but I feel so good and so like free because I've spoke about something I didn't even know I should be speaking about. So I think there's, used to be probably, but not so much now. I think it is definitely becoming more of a normal thing. And I think it's great. I think if you can try it, it is mind it well, it changed my mind a lot. And, for some people it might not, but it definitely is worth a go. And I really enjoy it and find it helps a lot.
I identify with what you said there exactly, which is that feeling of, I'm fine, I've got nothing to talk about, but actually being able to just talk, because we don't normally have opportunities like that with people that we love. And
Mm,
we will do this to people we love as well. We want to make each other better. So we
yeah.
rarely let someone talk about perhaps what's on their mind or their worst fears or what their worries are without trying to present them with a solution or to make them feel better. And in therapy, you have that space to say everything you're thinking.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't say to my mum like my deepest worries or whatever, because I wouldn't want her to worry and stuff like that. So you tend to not put on your friends and family too much worry because you don't want them to worry. But with a therapist, like it is just a conversation and you can say anything you want. And like, yeah, I really think it helps.
And like you said, if you can try it, that's wonderful. We know there are issues with access in terms of financially, but what I'll do is in the show notes for this podcast, I'll put some of the mental health charities as well. So if anyone's listening to this and they would like to access someone or read more about how they could work with a therapist through charities as well, I'll make sure that that's there, because it's such a good thing to talk about and think about. So thank you for sharing your experience. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
And we've come to the end of the podcast, apart from one question, which is, if you could meet Dianne in 10 years from now, what do you hope she would say to you?
Oh, in 10 years from now, I would actually just say I hope you're still enjoying whatever it is that you are doing at that moment, and it could be anything. Knowing myself, it could be a completely different career path because I love to try new things and challenge myself. But as long as I'm still enjoying the process and, have good people around me, and which I'm sure I will. But yeah, it's for me about enjoying the process because I would hate to know that Dianne's doing something that she didn't enjoy and didn't love and have passion for. So yeah, hopefully she's doing something that is making her heart sing.
That's so lovely. And again, there is that gratitude and that feeling and that passion. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been great.
It's been really wonderful. Tell people again about your book, and also where's the best place for them to find you online.
It's called Move Yourself Happy. It's out now, and the best place to order the book is on Amazon. And I hope you love it as much as I loved making it for all you guys. So yeah, I'm very proud of it, and I hope you enjoy it.
And so you should be. Dianne, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.